Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Sophie. I have a doctorate in literature, which means I get way too emotionally invested in the shows that we're watching. So if that sounds like something you will enjoy, why don't you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video? Today, we're reacting to episode 19 of season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Last episode, we had Megumi fighting Kamo, and then we also had the intrusion of the unregistered cursed spirits, including Haname, who is like, we can't coexist with humans, so we're gonna wipe you all out. So why don't you die and become sages? So it's like, what do you mean by sages? Like, what is the plan here? Like, what? And then there was the big veil, and then Gojo is barred from entering, but the cursed spirit user thought that Gojo wouldn't be because he's really disappointed that he can't make a coat rack out of Gojo. And then we had the principal from the Kyoto Institution whip out an electric guitar. And now all his piercings make so much sense because I thought it was just like a style choice. But now knowing that he's like a punk rock granddad, yeah, iconic. Kind of beginning to vibe with him a little bit more, even though I've kind of hated him for his actions towards Itadori and the way in which he's trying to get his students to do his dirty work for him. I feel that's really shitty. But then I also have to remember there is a genuine reason as to why they are terrified of what Itadori represents. I have had a question that's been on my mind. Of course, do not answer this. It is a hypothetical question that I throw out into the universe because I just need somewhere to jot down my thoughts, and these videos are kind of a way to jot down my thoughts as I'm watching, but also when I'm thinking about the show outside of watching. So when we see Sukuna and Itadori interacting with one another, Sukuna looks like Itadori, but I'm kind of like, is that to represent how they are sort of sharing a body? Or is there like a deeper meaning behind that stylistic choice? Is there a deeper meaning in that there is more of a connection between Sukuna and Itadori than we realize? That maybe they're from like a similar lineage? Because Itadori, before he even consumed the cursed object, already had like these intense supernatural abilities, almost similar to Maki, almost as if like he has abilities that even he doesn't fully know of. And then when we were trying to get information about his parents, he shut it down. So we still don't know about his parents. We don't know about his family line. But I don't know. I just don't know if they're trying to be like, oh, Schooner looks like Itadori because he's in Itadori's body and Itadori's the vessel, or if that's what Schooner also looks like. If Schooner also looks like Itadori, which then to me would symbolize that there is like a familial connection between them, that they are linked somehow, because it's just been playing on my mind. At first I thought it is just showing that Schooner looks like Itadori because he's in Itadori's body, but now I'm like, could it be more than that? Especially because Itadori's a vessel. So how does one become a vessel? How do you find a vessel? Are vessels created? Are vessels something that are born? So similar to techniques, some people can be born with the ability to consume cursed objects and house them within their bodies. Like, how did Itadori become a vessel? That's sort of my biggest question, is how are vessels formed? Are they made? Are they created? As in, like, there was always a purpose behind Itadori's birth in being a vessel, because we know that Itadori is seen as a rare vessel because he is actually able to control Schooner, which implies that there's been other vessels, but none of them have been able to keep Schooner under control. So now I'm just like, he obviously was born being able to do this. There's no way that he suddenly just became a vessel randomly. And then he also had these like supernatural abilities. So it's like, who the fuck are his parents? And did his parents have a child for the sole purpose of creating a vessel to secure Schooner within? Like, was that Itadori's purpose all along, to be a vessel? What's the background there? Because again, we still know so little, but just the more I think about it, the more sus it seems that Itadori had these abilities, that he was so strong, he was so fast, that he could see cursed energy, and then Sukuna's techniques will then eventually seep into Itadori because again, Itadori is the vessel for Sukuna, but they also look alike. Just, I have so many questions, so many theories. But I think the biggest question I have right now is just, does that mean potentially that Itadori was always meant to be a vessel, that he was born specifically for that purpose? But I'm sure that's something we'll discover as we go on. We are also nearing the end of season 1, and then there's the movie. So I'm going to watch the movie before I watch season 2. So that's the plan that I have in place. However, without further ado, we're going to jump into episode 19 because I really need to see what's happening. And I'm kind of nervous that we're going to start seeing characters killed off because we've only had one character die, which is Yoshino. We are now like 19 episodes in, and I'm getting nervous that things are going to really ramp up, that we're going to start having characters drop off like flies. Ooh. So cool. I love that we're seeing the whole point of the exchange event, which is them actually collaborating and working together. And I was like, he could have done that to me, but he didn't. I love the animation of Megumi, like going around the corner, he's like bouncing himself. You're also fucked if any of the others decide to come and help Hanami. Oh, Miwa is still asleep, and Miwa also doesn't have her sword because it was taken off her. But we might see Todo and Itadori fight together because they're still together as far as we're aware. Is Unamaki dead? Oh my god, I'm fucking stressed. Oh my god, no, he's okay. He's like, I got this. It's personal. Did we lose Megumi's owl as well? He's already lost so many. Ooh! Oh, Unamaki, please be okay. Oh, for fuck's sake. Ooh! Maki! Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, come on, Maki. Okay. So what is this one? Ooh! 5 billion, jeez. Please don't lose the demon dog. Yeah. Which makes me scared. Okay, so Demon Dog has the abilities of... Oh wow, okay. The white Demon Dog that died. So sad because they were like a pair.
少年の剣
Oh my god. I love the teamwork. They're like, switch.
二度と三節棍なんて使わせないでください。扱いづらい。
慣れるとべん
I'm sorry.
マキさん。くそ、俺がしくったせいだ。
心臓を狙った一突き素晴らしい反応です。仲間が傷つくたび隙が生じる。破壊された。いや、
No, he didn't want to lose it. He's already lost one.
もう呪術は使わない方がいい。あなたに打ち込んだ目は呪力が大好物。術を使うほど体の奥深くへ根を伸ばす。
This is so fucked.
ご親切に。どうせ殺すつもりだろ。
説明した方が聞くのが早いらしい。
Oh, fuck. Well, if we lose Maki, I'm gonna absolutely stop watching this show.
キレはない。
守る人間を選べ。俺が一番背負っていない。だから俺が先に倒れるなんてことは許されねえんだよ。
Oh,
やめろ。私らの仕事は終わった。戦士交代だ。
it's Dory. Yes, and Todo. Let's go.
いけるか、マイフレンド。
Yes. Oh, that was so fucking cool, but so stressful. I honestly thought we might lose Maki, and I was like, I can't cope with the idea of that.
この二人がここまでやられるなんて。
But they're all working together, which is phenomenal.
なんだ、ああいう二人を連れて帳を出ろ。西宮曰くこの帳は対五条悟るようで。
Anti-Gojo.
大丈夫。頼む。
気づいたようだな。羽化を始めた者に何人も触れることは許されない。虎杖は今そういう状態だ。
次死んだら殺す。
He's a lot stronger than last time. Bandash!
じゃ死ぬわけにはいかねえな。
I love that he's still thinking about Itadori. He doesn't want to lose Itadori again.
国戦を決められず、お前がどんな目に遭おうと、俺はお前を見殺しにする。
Black Flash. Is this what they were doing in the forest when he said, do you want to be stronger?
雰囲気はあるが、呪力の総量だけで言えば、絶対に私より弱い。だが
I wouldn't underestimate Todo
よ
though.
ほどの術式を持っているのか。現にこの私が下手に動けなかった。そして国戦と。さて、どう来る？
I'm wondering the same thing.
お前の仲間に継ぎはぎ面の人型呪霊はいるか？
Mm-hmm.
いると言ったら。
Then it's personal.
軽率に距離を詰めない。そこは評価します。早い。先ほどの少女以上の瞬発力。
Jesus Christ.
マイフレンド。怒りは術師にとって重要なトリガーだ。相手を怒らせてしまった。
I love that he's become like his mentor.
取ることもある。怒りで呪力を乱し、実力を発揮できず負けることも。
You gotta be in control of what you're doing. Don't lose your head.
そして何より親友である俺との蜜月に水を差され、お前がド発商店に陥ってしまうのはよーく
Oh,
理解で
honeymoon.
きる。
Oh my god, this duo is amazing.
今は収めろ。
Snap out of it.
仲間割れなのか。
No, he's lecturing him.
消えたか、雑念は。
He's getting him to
雲一つね。
focus. I love Todo.
ベストフレンド
Oh, I love them.
打撃との誤差 0.00001 秒以内に重力が衝突した際に生じる空間の歪み。
I'm gonna go back there slightly. That was an explanation that I kind of need to take in. So, Black Flash, it's a distortion of space born from the impact of cursed energy, delivered within a trillionth of a second of a block. This is too scientific for me.
黒線を狙って出せる術師は存在しない。
Bar Todo?
だがしかし、黒線を経験した者と、そうでない者とでは、重力の革新との距離に天と地ほどの差がある。
Is he drooling? Okay, so between those who have experienced Black Flash and those who have not, their distance from the core of cursed energy is like that of heaven from earth. I keep pausing because it's just a lot of information that they're throwing.
打撃との誤差 0.00001 秒以内に重力が衝突した瞬間、空間は歪み、重力は黒く光る。
Holy shit!
なったな。
Okay, so how does Todo know about Black Flash? Was Todo taught this, or...?
今のが
I feel like my mouth's been agape this whole episode.
なんだこれ俺の磁力だよな。
重力の味を理解したんだ。お前は今まで口に入れたことのない食材をなんとなく鍋に入れて煮込んでいるような状態だった。だが
But now you
国戦
know.
を経て重力という食材の味を理解した今、シェフとして3秒前の自分とは別次元に立っている。コングラチュレーション、ブラザー。お前は強くなれる。
Oh, they're so cute! I know that's not the point, but I love it.
その他大勢とは何か違う。
治んのか
I really want to know more about
重力
Todo.
でできている。さあ、調理を始めようか。
Let's get cooking, let's go!
どうやら
I really want to see Todo in action. We only really see
多
him.
少本気を出した方が良さそうだ。
Oh, damn! What? Holy. The animation's insane. But also the teamwork.
なんつう攻撃範囲
But we only see Todo fight Megumi and Itadori. We haven't actually seen him in like proper action until now. Oh,
重い。宣告の黒く光る打撃ほどではないが。
but what if they do the
各々が確
flashy
実に
black
私にダ
thing
メージを与え
together?
るだけの
Black
威力
Flash.
がある。
トドもっとタイミングを合わせろ
They do Black Flash together. Surely that's just going to utterly destroy Haname.
足場が
油断。これだけの質量、実物に磁力を通し操っていると思っていた。
大地のありがたみを知るといい。
落下中に攻撃、えぐいな。だが、
あれをかわすか。しかしなんだ。
Now you have to pick. They're not together. You have to look at who you're going for.
君の戦う目的は知ってる。でもその過程、戦いという今現在をもっと楽しんだ方がいいと思うよ。
真人は楽しいのですか？
まあね。最中感じる優越や快楽が動機になったのはごく最近だよ。
When he actually felt the fear of death, right?
たぶらかし殺し、いつの間にか満たされている。魂は本能と理性のブレンド。その割合は他人にとやかく言われるもんじゃないけどさ、君の魂は少し窮屈そうだ。花見ってさ、本当はもっと強いんじゃない？
Oh, holding it back. Well, we kind of guessed that when they finally revealed what they've been hiding all along.
してあれだけの磁力消費叩くなら今
I think it has more than you realize. As Mahito says, much stronger. Ooh,
真人
that was close.
私は今戦いを楽しんでいます
They understand what Mahito was saying, finally.
では俺の術式を解禁する
Oh my god, no. It's the cliffhanger. What's the technique? I want to know. What's Todo's technique? Maybe we've had it revealed, but I don't remember.
五条悟のハンガーロックってどん
A
なんよ
pretty one.
ポールハンガーだろうなスタンドは仙骨尾骨を残した
This
寛
is
骨を
so
ベース
fun.
に加工した大腿骨で安定させる背骨は腰椎胸椎第
This is
三頸椎まで
wild.
使う長さはそうだなジンダイクスがいいなジンダイクスのレプリカを使って交互に入れ込むことで長さを
We're actually seeing a Gojo coat rack.
全体のバランスを見ながら極突起や大突起を延長してラックにする色合い次第では脳でなめした皮をかぶせるのもいいいいなあいいぞいいハンガーラックが作れる
Poor
いら
Gojo.
ね
That is very true. Who's gonna want a Gojo coat rack? I imagine somebody out there probably wants a Gojo coat rack, but that's actually traumatizing. The idea of Gojo being a coat rack. Holy, oh my god. Just, I don't even know where to begin with this episode. There was so much tension and hype and energy, and yeah, I genuinely felt the stakes were extremely high. At one point, I thought we'd lost Unamaki. Then I thought we might lose Maki. Then I thought we might lose Megumi. I just didn't know where to look or where to focus. There was so much going on, but I just love that little bonding moment again of Megumi and Itadori. It's reminding him of when he lost Itadori the first time, when Itadori told him it was okay to leave because he would call out Sukuna. He doesn't want Itadori to be thrust back into that situation. The fact that he basically says to him, if you die, I'll make sure to kill you. I mean, he'd already be dead, but the sentiment is still there that essentially Itadori can't die. He's not allowed to. Megumi would never forgive him. He would actually curse him for all of eternity if Itadori died. But I love seeing Todo and Itadori as in this like mentorship. So we kind of know what they were doing because he was asking Itadori if he wanted to become stronger. And when Itadori said yes, he must have been like telling him about Black Flash, and we sort of see that come into fruition. Seeing Todo as like Itadori's mentor, he's snapping him back into reality. He's telling him, you can't just let your temper and your emotions get the better of you, because if you do that, you're going to lose your head, you're going to leave yourself open, and it's going to make you vulnerable. So you need to get your head in the game. Yes, the anger that comes from the cursed energy is great, but not if it means that you're going to leave yourself at risk. And it's more dangerous to get yourself worked up than it is to think rationally about the situation. And I love how even Haname was like, I don't know if they're fighting each other or not, because obviously he slaps Itadori, but it's just to get him to return to his senses. He's like, this isn't what I taught you. You need to get your head in the game. But seeing them go from like best friend to brother when they're combining their ability to dodge that strike when they're falling, phenomenal. I just live for the Todo Itadori dynamic. I love the little friendship that they have formed in so close of a time frame, and this is just showing what the exchange is supposed to be about, is coming together, learning from each other, and Itadori and Todo are very much the essence of that. But I love they know that the veil won't let Gojo in, so they're like, okay, we have to take everyone to Gojo outside of the veil because it's the only way to kind of really keep them safe, is getting them out of this mess. But we also had the reference to Haname understanding what Mahito was saying to them, and that they finally enjoy the fight. I'm going to go back and just kind of look at that dialogue because it was a little fast, and it's kind of really hard to like I feel like because the unregistered curse spirits are so incredibly strong, it's really rare for them to feel a challenge. It's rare for them to feel like their life's at risk and that they actually have to scheme and manipulate in order to outwit their opponent. So I think what Mahito is essentially saying is that for the first time, when he's actually come across someone, he's felt those intense emotions, that he's felt this ability to actually enjoy and thrive in a life or death situation, because Naname and Itadori were such competition that he had to think outside of the box. He had to constantly test himself and test his limits. And that's kind of the same with Haname. Up until Todo and Itadori, yes, Haname was still sort of getting attacks thrown at them and being hit by those attacks, but not to the same degree as Itadori and Todo. These are the first two that she's really felt have potential to actually cause significant damage. So the enjoyment of the fight, the thrill of the fight, is this enjoyment of being in a life or death situation. Because Mahito says that you should be more invested in the moment, in the present, in the fight itself, and what the fight has to offer and that opportunity. He talks about how like humans live basically to sleep, screw, and eat, and that they thrive on that. But he's essentially saying that for curses, it's about the fight, it's the battle, it's the intense energy that's being generated in that moment. That's what he believes curses live for, is the fight. Because even Mahito says that it's only until recently, which was the fight with Naname and Itadori, that he fully understood the joy and the pleasure that comes from the battle. And he even says before he knew it, he was tricking, deceiving, and murdering. And that gave him a thrill. It gave him a joy that he's not felt fighting anyone else before them. So it's just really interesting that he says, just because we've gained reason doesn't mean that we should justify going against our instincts, which is to enjoy the battle, the heat of the moment, and the pleasure and joy that comes from tricking, deceiving, and murdering. I don't know if that's where the pleasure and joy comes from. I think the pleasure and joy is having someone that is just as strong and capable as yourself and being thrust into that moment of life and death, that there's this thrill that comes with the potentiality of being excised, because you never know if it's going to happen or if it's not. You're kind of put into a more vulnerable situation than you usually would be, because again, these are unregistered cursed spirits. They have significant amounts of cursed energy. We've seen how quick they are to regenerate and heal themselves. They're terrifying. They're not something to take lightly. And even when Itadori saw Jogo for the first time, when Gojo brought him to like witness the battle, even Itadori was taken aback by just how strong Jogo was. They're all sort of the same degree of strong. So it makes sense as to why, when they actually have someone that could potentially rival them, there is a joy in that. There's a pleasure that they gain from knowing that something's not going to be easily accomplished. It's almost as if fighting is like a form of expression. It's a way of like showing your abilities and also your vulnerabilities to your enemy. They see you for who you truly are. So instead of hiding your strength, instead of pretending that you're not as strong as you actually are, why not give them a glimpse of everything that you have to offer? And I feel like part of it is strategic, but again, Mahito is sort of saying that you're not living for the present, you're living for the future. We all know why you're fighting, but you're not actually fighting for the moment, you're not fighting for the thrill of it, and you're going against your instinct as a curse. There was dialogue of Megumi that really kind of interested me. It's when he's talking about how he can't let anyone die before him because he doesn't have as much weight of expectation placed on him. Megumi was so willing to sacrifice himself to save Maki. It's quite heart-wrenching that he doesn't see his own life as valuable. He only sees himself as valuable to the extent that he can save other people. He doesn't see himself as actually being worth saving. So I do love that Maki was able to recognize that in Megumi, and she was able to stop him before he did something that would have resulted in him dying, because of course the bud in his chest feeds on cursed energy. He was going to release, I think it was another part of his technique, but that would have killed him. But he was willing to kill himself if it meant killing Haname to save Maki. And it's just like, you need to trust the people around you. You need to trust that you can actually have support and protection as well, that you don't need to sacrifice yourself continuously for others. I feel so sorry for him because there's a lot of indications from his dialogue that he really doesn't see himself as somebody worth saving, as somebody worth having a good life. He literally talks down about himself, that he's not as necessary as the others around him, that he can just die and no one would care, that it is a worthy sacrifice in his mind to save others because they have more burdens, more responsibilities than he does. It's almost as if he sees his life as sort of a throwaway to protect others rather than his life also being valuable. I hope that is like a change in his perspective going forward, that he does realize just how strong and vital he is to the group as a whole, that it shouldn't just come down to him sacrificing himself for others time and time again. He should see himself as worthy of living. It's almost like Megumi has this internal I can't say the word. Why can't I not say the word? It's actually really annoying me. I've tried to say the word for the past 6 times. It's just not coming out right. Turmoil. That's it. Internal turmoil that he's kind of wrestling with, because his words in reference to himself are really pessimistic. And again, he talks about how he decides who he protects, who he saves. And again, it ties back to this philosophy that he has, that if life is unfair, then he's going to play unfair and he's going to save those that he believes are more worthy to be alive than others. But that is then giving the impression that he doesn't believe himself as a life worth saving, of being worthy. He constantly looks down on himself, and it's just so tragic because he doesn't realize just how strong he is. And it makes you really wonder about his background. What has he experienced and seen for him to have such a negative viewpoint of himself? Because we know that his father is pretty much absent. We know that he has no affiliation with the Zenin clan. We don't know anything about his mother. She hasn't really been mentioned, but it does just seem that whatever's happened to him, he's grown up believing himself of no importance, that he's not worth saving. And coming from somebody that tries to save those that he deems as worthy of living because he believes them to be good people, his own choice to sacrifice himself for someone else implies that he doesn't believe himself as someone that's worthy of being saved, that he doesn't believe himself to be a good person. And that's just so incredibly tragic, because I think everything he's done so far has painted him to be a good person. His trust and love and faith towards Itadori, his want to protect him and keep him safe, the fact that he asked Gojo to keep him alive, even though technically Gojo should have excised him, the fact that even after Itadori's death, he decided to take the name badge of that juvenile prisoner to his mother in order to give her comfort, because it's what Itadori would have done. And he wanted to pay respect to Itadori and what Itadori, in his mind, died for. So everything he's doing is so heartwarming and clearly thinking about other people more than he is himself. But in terms of his own philosophy, if he's willing to sacrifice himself for Maki, it's because he doesn't believe himself to be worth saving. And I just really hope that is a perspective that shifts as he goes forward in the narrative. It could be that this is sort of the internal conflict that he wrestles with, that he doesn't believe himself as important. He is important, especially the fact that he has techniques that are so rare that people are shocked and in awe of what he possesses, but maybe his own sense of worth is maybe impacted by the techniques that he has, that maybe people don't look at him as him, but rather the techniques that he possesses, that they see him only as the technique rather than as the person. And that's kind of led to him having this sort of negative perspective of himself, that he's not worthy of being loved for who he is, that he's only worthy of being loved for the technique that he carries. And that's why he's sort of very downbeat about himself. The fact that he says that he chooses who he protects and he's choosing to protect Maki is also an indication that he maybe doesn't have faith in the team actually being able to formulate a plan against Hanami, that he believes this is the final act that he can do to protect someone that he believes deserves to live more than himself. You know, this whole idea of him shouldering the least responsibility, in his mind, that's probably the case, but I don't think that's actually the truth. I really, again, hope that Megumi begins to see himself and just how much others care about him and his presence. That he's not somebody that can just be discarded for the sake of others. That he wants to protect those that have meaning to him, but at the same time, he also needs to value his own life, and it doesn't seem like he does value his own life because he doesn't seem to see himself as a life worth saving. What a phenomenal episode, though. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. Until next episode, bye!